Hi everyone. Today I thought I'd uh, hop on and share a few of my thoughts on what's been going on in the system and all the changes that have been taking place, the scene change. If you've been watching the latest upload on the Fountain channel, the free and the paid version, you'll see exactly why all of these things have been taking place now, currently as we speak, given that today's date is also quite uh, is also part of a type of ritual timeline. And when I bring that in, I'm going to bring in also some other aspects on time as well. Now, what I want to share with you is not going to be too, it's going to be a little complex. So I would want you to please watch the information on the fountain, the latest, the lesson 7, so that you'll understand exactly what we're looking at. But I am going to give you the view on a metaphysical level so that you understand what we're looking at. So now, basically, on all of the snippets and bits and information and bits and bobs everywhere, there has been some sort of changes in the system with regards to energy or power removal or the crisis of energy. And basically, for those of you who have been watching my channel, you'll be able to see that literally they've been going through all of the things that we need, that you would need generally speaking as a human being to exist on the planet, from the parts of the food, water, and things to keep you sane, and so on and so on. Uh, Basically, the let's say this is a wild card that's being played right now because it's a stress or a fear to try and put things into place because they're basically creating a scene change. And the scene change is meant to represent the end time scenario. And along with the end time scenario will come a lot of things that may be used specifically on a Christian and perhaps other, Islam and Judaic traditions. You'll be able to see a lot of those type of things come through into this reality, which then, of course, reveals to you the hands of the cards that are the hands that are playing these cards. And as you also realize that along with this whole process is the other uh, entity or information on CERN as well, which has now been obviously given 5,000,000 ways of explaining what exactly it has been going on with it. I've been following it just sort of on the side just to have a look and see, but I can see that it's definitely greatly being interpreted as part of the end time scenario fear drive. I've remote viewed the actual thing itself. I've remote viewed it a few times on few places. There's not just one in one place. There's multiple of them all over, and they all radiate a particular frequency, so you're able to pick up on it. Um, when I say frequency, I'm explaining that there are certain subtle keys that you're able to pick up on if you're very sensitive in terms of your physical being and metaphysical being, that you'll be able to sense the changes that have been taking place. But needless to say, I need to also bring that in as part of the let's say scene change for the next scene to come in, the next movie to be rolled out. And I've touched briefly on it, like I said to you, well, actually more in detail in on the fountain. I'm not punting my own channel, but I am wanting you to have a look there because then you'll understand this video that I'm making right now. And basically what the target is to knock down a few. I've made 11 points where I've explained what is essentially driving the forces to that they will be trying to play out during the scene change or script change or narrative change or whatever you want to call it that's taking place. I do want to say this though, that it's become kind of like so obvious that literally all of these things that have been bringing in these doomsday fear-driven, sensationalizing information has definitely contributed to some aspects of changing like, for example, it's contributed to the actual execution energetically on the planet as well. Like I've said, if you are wanting to observe yourself, your energy that you put into place, and you have a particular frequency that you radiate within, um, you will definitely influence the planet in a particular way, including the people that you are perhaps connecting with. And it depends on how many of you are doing this. Now, the next thing I want to bring to your attention is the fall of the statue, um, uh, Georgia Guidestones. Now, that is also, there are a few things that come into play. I mean, it's so obvious that you can see that there's a script change. You can also see that they're using a lot of things to try and motivate a particular drive. They're knocking down the world countries that used to be very strong in their existence, in their reign. For example, I mean, Germany is heavily affected by what they're doing right now in terms of cutting off the energy. If your power is cut off, then it means you're left in a place of subjection or submission to what now comes next. Now I have another thing that I'm busy with putting it together for the next lecture on the fountain, which is basically going to be discussing something called the Atlanticists, which is what I call the wild card, because I do think, and I'm not predicting as such, but I am saying that I do have a feeling that there's a very strong influence from that in the background as well. But I'm not giving you everything that I'm discussing right now. So, in other words, all of these things that we've basically been experiencing, yes, there is an influence from CERN on the planet itself. No, it is not going to turn your planet into the upside down world of Stranger Things. Please, I will tell you not to go into that direction at all, but it might throw things in an upside down way for you to experience, such as, for example, toppling Germany that used to be, or that had the historical um, uh, ideology of once being quite the strong historical leader at a time. And those who have been left on the ground have now been toppled back up to the top again. So there's great focus on South Africa. Suddenly, everyone will probably now start calling South Africa South Africa instead of Africa, which is another way of basically making South Africa disappear by referring to South Africa as Africa, which is exactly not, um, uh, which is how you make a place disappear. You just change its name. So now the focus is on the enforcing of bringing in new type of energy to try and replace an older type of energy as well. So if you really want to see an upside down world, Stranger Things type style going on, then this is part of the scene change that you're looking at. You're looking at places like, for example, the Vatican. That is, there has been information going around on the Vatican burning. Um, if it's true or not, it is something that you would need to explore and do some remote viewing on it and actually look at it for yourself, and then you'll be able to understand what you're looking at. You see, these things that have all been at the top, or that have appeared to have a kind of hierarchy in its place. The power that the Georgia Guidestones had over the belief that there will only be so many people left on the planet, etc., yada yada yada. These are all elements that are now being toppled or inverted or turned the other way around. It's being flipped. So you're now going to look at the other side of this narrative, the end times narrative, which is part of that particular process that's taking place. Why do I say end times? Because if you want to bring in a belief of the boogeyman, you have to, and you want to really bring a lot of fear in, you'd want to create the scene to represent that entity to come into place. But then you also need a progenitor or a hero figure to be the opposite of that entity as well. So I am seeing a change. I'm seeing the scene changes in my current country, my country, South Africa, and I'm seeing how there's a lot of scurrying around to try and keep up with that scene change. And I'm also seeing a lot of interest from other countries in South Africa, for example, to try and come and tell South Africa how to do their job. Needless to say, there are a lot of people that have obviously sold the estates out to the foreign countries, and that is a story for another time. I'm not a politician, so I will not give political information, but I will give you geopolitical, which relates to the symbology of changes in the world, and that is what I do. So I want you to have a look at everything that's been going on. Look after yourself. Don't feed the beast. Be sure that you are able to keep the mind consciously clear and always to go within, because really this is why all of the exercise and the effort in terms of teaching everyone on this channel how to touch base with who you are in your spirit, that you are able to connect with Great Spirit. This is where it now starts to matter to you, where you should now start to experience and understand that you have that within you. So I'm leaving this with you. Have a good day, have a good evening, wherever you are, and thank you so much for sharing my work and liking and subscribing my work. Thank you. Much love. Bye.